Hello everyone, my name is Sebastian Limeres. I'm an Argentine attorney and I'm licensed throughout the Argentine Republic in a few jurisdictions, which are the city of Buenos Aires, the province of Buenos Aires, and the three provinces of Córdoba, Mendoza, and San Juan. Today in this video, even though our expertise is estate law, business formation, and immigration law, we're only going to be talking about business formation, actually starting a company, establishing yourself in the Argentine Republic, doing business, starting to operate, get the business up and running, hiring employees, and all that's circling around doing business in Argentina. The three main questions that most business people, foreigners, ask us when they're trying to establish a business in Argentina is, what is the cost of incorporating a company in Argentina? How long is it going to take until the company is up and running? And finally, what does it take? What do you need from us abroad to be sending to you, the law firm, in order to start the business? Let's initiate this video by answering the three questions that most companies, most foreigners, most business people ask when they make their initial contact with their law firm. Those three questions again are, what is the cost of initiating a business incorporating in Argentina? And what is the total cost until the company is up and running? That is the first question that we get asked the most, the budget question. Now, the first answer that I'm going to give to you is, we can send you an extremely detailed Excel spreadsheet that will break down all the costs involved while incorporating. You may have some lines more, some lines less that will apply to your business or not. But essentially, if we had to determine what is the price tag so that your business is finally operating and is completely compliant with the government agencies in the Argentine Republic, I would say that the cost is literally $10,000. And it doesn't matter what line of business your company is involved in, and it doesn't matter how many people you're gonna end up having or any other factors that may vary. Usually what we have seen is, whether you're a software company or you're trying to export and import, the cost until you are up and running is $10,000. Now, I'm the last professional in this area that likes to be talking about my competitors, but usually you will run into other Argentine law firms telling you that the cost can be half. Well, in my experience, I'm happy to send you an Excel sheet that will show you all the costs involved, so that you can later compare, go out and shop with other colleagues and figure out on your own whether the price tag that I'm giving to the cost of incorporating in Argentina is $10,000. Is it less? Is it more? Is it more? It could easily be more. Now, the costs involved while incorporating in Argentina, in my experience, have never been less than $10,000. And it is pretty much shocking that it costs $1,000 to incorporate in the United States of America, and it costs $10,000 to incorporate in Argentina. Well, the dead honest truth is that if you were to incorporate in the United States, you can basically do this in 24 hours, and basically in 3 to 5 business days, you have the company up and running. Well, that will not happen in Argentina, because essentially opening a bank account in Argentina will probably take you anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4 weeks until the bank has received all the requirements that they want from its shareholders in order to open a bank account for foreigners, right? We're talking about KYC, anti-money laundering, et cetera, et cetera. Now, very recently in Argentina, it has become easier to incorporate and to get that company up and running in a matter of days, as opposed to in a matter of 30 to 40 days, as it used to happen, I would say a year ago. But things have not gotten extremely easier, and this means that we attorneys must involve many hours of investing time in your corporation until it's fully operative. So that's the difference between a first world country as the United States as opposed to a country which is not first world in Argentina. Does Argentina have its advantages of doing business? Of course it has. Otherwise, we wouldn't be incorporating 2 to 5 businesses a month. Now, this is something that we can explain in detail, but one of those aspects that is not as friendly as in first world countries such as the United States, where you can get a company up and running in 5 business days, that will not happen in Argentina. So if any of my colleagues in Argentina is telling you that they can do it, trust me that down the road they will have to find an excuse just to tell you that things will end up happening anywhere from 30 to 40 business days. That's why it's very important to understand that the price tag of incorporating in a third world country such as Argentina is extremely related to the cost of it. So again, if you're being told that incorporating in the Argentine Republic will cost you any less than $10,000 until the company is up and running, I suggest that you do your due diligence and that you keep shopping more until you have obtained at least the advice of a few colleagues, a few professionals, CPAs that can tell you what are the real costs involved. Of course, you need to understand that if you're watching this video, it's because your first language is English and there aren't that many qualified attorneys and CPAs in Buenos Aires or throughout the Argentine Republic, which will be able to advise you in your native language and provide a sophisticated and qualified advice. So that said, if you're putting yourself in the hands of a bilingual professional, of course it has its cost. And those costs are usually the same that are involved when you're hiring a firm in the United States or in the first world, where the fees, of course, can be significant. So again, do your due diligence, shop, try to ask for as many quotes in writing, and at the end of the day, as I said, it's probably going to cost you anywhere from $10,000, slightly less, and definitely more if the business is not small and it requires licenses and it requires CPAs and attorneys and it requires a real estate agent to find the office where to do the business. There are many costs involved. There's also the cost of a notary public, which in Argentina is called an escribano, which is basically an attorney slash a notary public. So again, if I had to place my opinion, I would say that the cost involved until a company is up and running is basically $10,000, and the absolute minimum cost of having that company survive for at least 12 months can be anywhere in the neighborhood of $20,000 to $25,000. The second question that we get asked the most is, how soon can you have this company up and running and make it be fully operational, compliant with all the agencies throughout Buenos Aires or throughout the Argentine Republic? And the answer is actually very positive. I would say a year ago, or I would say actually in 2018, it could take anywhere from 30 to 60 to 90 days. That was extremely surprising, but Argentina was not in its best moment in terms of incorporating, but now in 2009, it probably will take no more than a week until the company's up and running. And if other circumstances are required to make the company completely compliant, we're probably talking about 30 days and 30 consecutive days and not business days. So that's the good news in terms of the timeline. We can also assist companies in obtaining shelf corporations, which are basically shelf corporations that are waiting to be bought, that are already operative. The only thing that they probably may not have is a bank account, but once the corporation is purchased, obtaining a bank account in Argentina is usually very easy. It's not difficult as it probably is in countries such as Uruguay, which usually is not allowing foreigners to open bank accounts, even if they had fully operational corporations, unless that corporation had years of balances. So the great news is that we can have a new corporation up and running in a matter of a week to 30 days. We can have a shelf corporation in a week to 2 weeks, and a bank account can be opened in a matter of 2 weeks. The third question that we get asked the most all the time is actually once the client, the customer has gone through all the basics of budget and timeline in terms of having the company up and running, they want to know what's going to be required from them or from the company that's trying to open a subsidiary here in Buenos Aires and or in Argentina. And the answer is basically what we're going to need is we're going to need a passport identifying each one of the future owners, shareholders, and if possible, it can be 2 pieces of identity. That could be a second document, can be a foreign national document of identity, and it could be a driver license. And all these documents, all the documents that I'm going to be mentioning should always be an original version, or they should be in certified copy. That means that the document must either be apostilled by your Secretary of State or your Foreign Ministry, and it must be translated to Spanish. That can be translated in Argentina if it's something that is not easily obtainable in your country. Now, the other documents that we will require from our clients are a power of attorney, which will be sent from our law firm once we obtain the passports of the people involved incorporating here in Argentina. And we will need some pieces of evidence that will allow different agencies and the banks to understand that the shareholders that we are representing are people that they would want to have as clients and as taxpayers, right? So bank statements of the company that's incorporating in Argentina, or bank statements of the shareholders to prove that sister banks in other foreign countries admit you as a client and that you're in good standing. And if what you're trying to incorporate is an important company, we will probably require criminal background checks just for the purpose of understanding who we're doing business with. And finally, a biography, or what we could eventually define as a resume, so that we understand the line of business, the background, and everything related to that person, just to understand, what they have been doing for the past 10 years. So those could be essentially the main requests from the agencies and from the banks, just to have you doing business in Argentina. 2 other questions that we get asked very much are, can we do business in Argentina by being shareholders and still staying abroad? Well, one of the requirements that the tax agency, which is called AFIP, requires in Argentina is that one of those shareholders must be physically within Argentine jurisdiction, so that if any tax questions wanted to be asked by the tax agency, that this director has to be present either in Buenos Aires or in any province throughout the Argentine Republic. So that is one of the requirements that the Argentine corporate system requires, which is having one of those directors, at the very minimum, one has to be physically present during the 365 days of the year. And another question that we get asked is, what is the minimum capital injection that must be submitted to the bank to capitalize the corporation. And since this amount is in pesos, I'm not going to state it in this video, but believe me that if you are incorporating in Argentina, this amount is pretty insignificant. So the amount, I would say, so that you get an idea, usually that total amount will not exceed $2,500, and initially within 24 months the only amount that can be submitted is 25% of that amount. So, but we always suggest that when you open the bank account that you capitalize it with at least, $3,000 at the very minimum if possible. And those $3,000 are yours. They belong to the Argentine corporation. So basically they belong to the shareholder, and we just want to do it so that we're giving the banks peace of mind, and so that everything will be paid in case minor amounts need to be paid. Another question that we get every once in a while is whenever a company is trying to land in Argentina and they want to incorporate, their question is, what should we do? Should we become a standalone corporation in Argentina, or should we adopt the position of a subsidiary? Basically, the foreign corporation would be the father company, and the Argentine corporation would be the child company, just to call it some way. So usually our suggestion will always be that unless you're a very big company that trades public, or a company that is generating a lot of profit in both countries, that the best thing to do is to become a standalone. And what we are doing is, with the standalone, we're separating the foreign corporation from the Argentine corporation so that we are not connecting them in terms of being sued and being held responsible. So, of course, the advantages of a subsidiary is that many taxes are avoided, because as long as there are treaties between the foreign country and the subsidiary, there are certain taxes that can be worked out. Now, in terms of standalone corporations, if it helps to know, most of the companies that are operating in Argentina, and they probably trade public in other countries of the world, they are standalone corporations, meaning they have no relation whatsoever with the corporation that is being filed in Argentina. Finally, in terms of immigration purposes, a question that we get asked very much is, we want to send an employee from the foreign company to be physically present in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, or anywhere in the Argentine Republic. The answer is, we can certainly assist you. This Argentine corporation would basically have to create what's called a letter of invitation, where the shareholders will propose in this letter to hire that foreign employee. This letter, together with a file, will be submitted to the Argentine Directional of National Migrations, and within a very short period, this person, very short, and I mean by days, this person will be legally entitled to be working, and within a matter of 24 months, actually, that person obtains the permanent residence and can actually even apply for a passport. So this answers the questions of foreigners that want to know whether they can be working legally in Argentina if they are coming through what's called a work visa. If this short video, of course, has not answered many of all the questions that you have, I invite you to send us an email, contact us via phone. You can also contact us through WhatsApp, Telegram, or any source that you believe will be facilitating you to contact us. Just let us know, and we will be delighted to contact you through that source. So thank you very much for watching our video. I invite you to visit our website, which is limeres.com, and thank you very much once again.